Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari. Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Bhajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Bhajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parajikacharya Ashtotar Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON BBT Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parajikacharya Ashtotar Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Grantaraj srimadbhagavatam Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhaktavinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Narayanam Namaskritya Narang Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, we should offer our respectful obeisances unto Lord Narayan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and to Narayan Rishi, the supremest human being, and to Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author, and unto Srila Prabhupada, the translator, commentator, and our spiritual master. Nashta Prayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes on Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering devotional service to the pure devotee, all that is inauspicious within the heart is destroyed almost to nil, and loving devotion to the Supreme Lord, who is glorified in transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. That's really nice to know. Irrevocable. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. On this 10th day of June 2020 in SanDiego, we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, translation and commentary by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. We're in Canto 4, The Creation of the Fourth Order, Chapter 24, Chanting the Song Sung by Lord Shiva, texts 47 and 48, and we'll read 47 together. Priti Prahasita Pangam Alakai Rupa Shobhitam Lasat Pangaja Kinjalka Dukulam Rishtakundalam Priti Prahasita Pangam Alakai Rupa Shobhitam Lasat Pankacha Kinjalka Dukulam Rishtakundalam Priti Prahasita Pangam Alakai Rupa Shobhitam Lasat Pankacha Kinjalka Dukulam Rishtakundalam Priti Prahasita Pangam Alakai Rupa Shobhitam Lasat Pankacha Kinjalka Dukulam Rishtakundalam Priti Prahasita Pangam Kairu Pachobitam Prahasita Pangam Shobitam Pangajakinjalaka Kunjalam Prahasita Pangam Prahasita Pangam Lasat Pankacha Kinjalka Lasat Pankacha Kinjalka Priti Prahasita Kanam Satkansta Kinjalka Prahasita Pangam Rupa Shobitam Asat Pankacha Kinjalka Dukulam Rishtakundalam. Okay, I'll chant the second verse. Spodot Kadita Valeha Hadanu Padamekalam Sankachakka Kadha Padma Malaman Uttamardhimat. Priti, merciful. Prahasita, smiling. Apangam, sidelong glance. Alakai, with curling hair. Rupa, beauty. Shobhitam, increased. Lasat, glittering. Pankaja, of the lotus. Kinjalka, saffron. Tukulam, clothing. Mrishta, glittering. Kundalam, earrings. Translation. So this is Lord Shiva praying to Narayan and teaching the prachetas, his song. The Lord is super excellently beautiful on account of his open and merciful smile and his sidelong glance upon his devotees. His black hair is curly, and his garments, waving in the wind, appear like flying saffron pollen from lotus flowers. His glittering earrings, shining helmet, bangles, garland, ankle bells, waist belt, and various other bodily ornaments combine with conch shell, disc club, and lotus flower to increase the natural beauty of the Kaustubha pearl on his chest. Purport. The word prahasitapanga, referring to Krishna's smile and sidelong glances at his devotees, specifically applies to his dealings with the gopis. Krishna is always in a joking mood when he increases the feelings of conjugal rasa in the hearts of the gopis. The conch shell, club, disc, and lotus flower can be either held in his hands or seen on the palms of his hands. According to palmistry, the signs of the conch shell, club, lotus flower, and disc mark the palms of great personalities and especially indicate the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Om Jnanatimmirandasya Jnanandjana Shalakaya Chukshu Unmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance. My spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my humble obeisance unto him and all members of Sri Parampara. The Lord Shiva is continuing to describe the beauty of the Lord, and his descriptions should be giving us a mental picture of this beautiful form of Narayan four-handed. Although in this purport, Prabhupada seems to be describing how this could also apply to Krishna. And he focuses on this word prahasitapanga, which is right at the beginning, or near the beginning. Prahasitapangam, the smiling, sidelong glance. This especially applies to his dealing with the gopis. And then he says that it's, well, you got four arms here, and you got the club, disc, and lotus flower. That's, and the club, disc, lotus, and conch. So that means Vishnu, right? No, that could be on his hands. Those are marks on Krishna's hands. So, in other words, Prabhupada saying this verse could also apply to Krishna. So I wanted to share with you, because the Bhagavatam is filled with descriptions of Krishna's beauty. And the beauty is most especially and perfectly appreciated by the gopis. So the intensity of your attraction for Krishna and your love for Krishna is like a lens that focuses Krishna's beauty and makes you you're more able to appreciate it. In fact, we learn at the very beginning of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the verses called the Mangalacharan, there's a verse describing the internal reason for why Lord Krishna appeared as Lord Chaitanya. And it has to do with this idea of increasing appreciation of those who have the most intense love. And who has the most intense love for Krishna? Srimati Radharani. Shri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kildasho Vanayaiva Svadyo Yenad Buddha Madhurima Kildasho Mavadiya. That's the first two lines of the verse. So there's three reasons why Lord Krishna came, as three divisions of the reason. And the first is to understand the glory of Srimati Radharani's love for him. And the second is to appreciate his own beauty and characteristics through the lens of her love, so to speak. In other words, the unique intensity and appreciation that she has for Krishna's beautiful aspects and attractive aspects due to her love for him. And the third is to experience the happiness and the bliss that she feels from loving him and being loved by him. So Krishna could not accomplish these three goals in Goloka Vrindavan as Krishna. He had to come in the mood of Srimati Radharani and be a perfect, example of worshiping Krishna, and that's the internal reason for Lord Chaitanya's appearance. The external reason is to spread the Sankirtan movement, which he did. He did both of those perfectly, of course. So several verses came to mind when reading this purport and reading this verse in preparation for this. So I'd like to share a couple of them with you. These are all, great treasures that we've been given. It's part of the varied treasure house of the Bhagavatam. There's so much wonderful philosophy that we need to know, pastimes, and also exquisitely beautiful poetry. Yes, it's in Sanskrit, but it's exquisitely beautiful poetry describing Krishna. And these, his beauty, his attractive features in other ways. And those are meant for our meditation. This is how we can't see the beauty of Krishna. Of course, we can see the deity, and we should be very eager. But at every moment, we can't be seeing the spiritual form of Krishna because we're not purified enough yet. But these sound vibrations, beginning with Hare Krishna mantra, helps to purify the consciousness and the intelligence, so that we can actually visualize this beautiful form of Krishna, and especially through the eyes of those who appreciate it the most. So the first verse here is at the end of the Dhenukasura pastime, where Balaram kills Dhenukasura, and they kill all these donkey demons in the Talavan. Those of you who read Krishna book, and this chapter is especially noteworthy because all the rasas, the higher rasas, are described there. Most prominently, the Sakya ras. There's a wonderful description at the beginning how they go out to the forest and they're playing in all kinds of ways, jumping into the lake, imitating the frogs, calling the echoes ill names. They're just exuberantly playing. And then it shifts a little bit, and the boys say, "We're hungry, and please get these tala fruits. Can't you smell them from here? They're overripe. Everyone's afraid to pick them because this big donkey demon has taken over, and he's got his associates there." So when Krishna and Balaram hear that, they laugh, and then Balaram is featured in this chapter. First thing is, when they go in, there's this wonderful description of Balaram's glories by Krishna. You remember that? He's praising Balaram. "Oh, just see, these trees and the creepers here, they're bowing down to greet you. And the peacocks are dancing there to greet you, oh Balaram." So then Balaram goes first into the Dhenuka forest. And the typical thing, if you study Balaram's pastimes, is always like a point where something happens and it kind of, he comes to his actual consciousness of who he is, and then he kills the demon. So that happens this time. The demon comes, and what do donkeys do? First they bray in a very ugly sound, So this big demon, Balaram shakes the tree and all the fruits come down. In other words, he challenges this. Everyone else is afraid to go in there. Balaram just goes in there, all the fruits come down. And so naturally this Dhenukasura, it's interesting, the word Dhenuka. Dhenu is a word for cow, Kamadhenus. But it's not Dhenu, it's a Dhenuka. It means like a kind of a cross between a bull and a horse or something. Anyway, it's not quite a cow. So he comes running in there, and of course he turns his back to Balaram, which itself is a great offense, and then he hits him in the chest with his hind legs, which would normally be a fatal blow, if you're just a human being. So Balaram's he doesn't react, he doesn't really do much. And the demon runs away and then comes back and tries it again. As soon as he kicks again, Balaram grabs those hind legs, swings him around, kills the demon by just swinging him rapidly and throws him into the top of a big tala tree. And it's so heavy that it starts swinging, and other tala trees start swinging. It's like a big hurricane, and then a bunch of them, they fall down and break, Big, very impressive. And of course, I never cease to be amazed at how dumb these demons are. I mean, they're supposed to be great yogis. It's not that he was born a donkey. This is his shape-shifting thing. He said, this will be a good form that I can use to kill Krishna. So, but then all the other associates, donkeys, instead of running away, realizing, well, he's the strongest amongst us, and he killed him pretty easily, let me get out of here. They lose it, right? The anger takes over, and they go and attack Balaram, and they all get killed. And Krishna comes in, and he also has. So that's wonderful pastime. And the boys come. Now, it's explained in the Bhagavatam itself that when all these demons, they went into the trees, knocked the trees down. So the big donkey demons' carcasses are now lying on the ground, bleeding, and contaminating all the fruits. So they don't actually eat those fruits. But it describes the Aborigines came, lower class people came and washed them off and ate them. So then the boys go back. Now, and as usual, they're singing Krishna's glories, coming into the town. And as they do that, the gopis, as is their wont, their usual practice, W-O-N-T, new word to learn, they come rushing out of their houses in a body to just greet Krishna. And this is the verse describing, there's actually two verses here. Maybe I'll read both of them. Yes, I'll read both of them, because the first one really describes his beauty, how he looks, which is what this is all about. So this is text 42 of the 15th chapter of the 10th canto, 10:15:42. Tam Gora Jastuti, the Kundala Badha Barha Vanyapasuna Vichirikshana Charu Hasam. There's the Hasam, Pahitasadin. Venam Kwanantam, sound familiar? Venam Kwanantam Adavinna. No. Venam Kwanantam Anugaidu Bhagita Kirtim. Gopyo Dadikshita Drisho Bhigamang Sameta. Lord Krishna's hair, powdered with the dust raised by the cows, was decorated with the peacock feather and forest flowers. The Lord glanced charmingly and smiled beautifully, playing upon his flute while his companions chanted his glories. The gopis all together came forward to meet him, their eyes very eager to see him. So this is how we should come before the deity, with our eyes very eager to see the deity. So then, what it describes, Pitva Mukunda Mukasarga Makshi Bringais, Tapam Jahubada Hajamba Yoshi Tohni, Tatsat Kutimsam Adigamya Vivesha Goshtam Sabvriddahasa Benayam Yadapanga Moksham. Apanga. You see the panga? That's the sidelong glance. With their bee-like eyes, the women of Vrindavan drank the honey of the beautiful face of Lord Mukunda. And thus they gave up the restless, the honey, this thick honey, saragam. They drank that beauty compared to honey with their bee-like eyes. And thus they gave up the distress they had felt during the day because of separation from him. Now later in the 10th canto, we get insight into actually what they're doing at home, which is singing about him, meditating on him. They're churning the butter and doing other errands. But they have songs, Venu Geet, the Yugal Geet, by which they remember Krishna and become absorbed in thought of him. And this is the ideal. Prabhupada says in the Krishna book, this is how we can remain Krishna conscious all the time. You do your chores, but at the same time you're chanting Hare Krishna, and you're thinking of Krishna, you're chanting these verses, remembering Krishna. That's the best. So the gopis are always the best in remembering Krishna, expressing their love. So they're drinking that honey in the face, and thus they gave up the distress. The young Vrindavan ladies cast sidelong glances at the Lord, glances filled with bashfulness, laughter, and submission. And Sri Krishna, completely accepting these glances as a proper offering of respect, entered the cowherd village. So he's casting his loving glances at them, and they're casting back. So that's 2 verses describing Krishna's beauty and how to appreciate it. There's a few more I'd like to share with you. Now, when Bhishma Dev is ready to pass away, very dramatic scene. The battle is over, he's lying on this bed of arrows. It doesn't give the full expression, He's shot through with these arrows, and he's lying on this bed, It must be pretty uncomfortable, right? And first of all, he gave all this instruction to Yudhishthira. Yudhishthira was completely overwhelmed with grief after the battle. It wasn't that he said, "Oh, great, we won," No, he said, he felt guilty because he was the one who was going to be crowned king, the emperor, right? And he felt that it's pastime. There's this material side. Now look what I've done. Millions of men are killed. The horses, the elephants. Prabhupada calls it a mass massacre. He was very depressed, and he didn't want to take the kingdom. So Krishna, as he did with Arjuna, he could have instructed him, and increased his enthusiasm, tell him, it's your duty, whatever, But he didn't do that. He wanted Bhishma Dev to instruct him, to show the exalted nature of Bhishma Dev. And so while Bhishma Dev was lying on Bhishma Dev was waiting to go, he wanted Krishna to come, so that he would be seeing Krishna. Remember, he had his benediction, he could decide when he was going to die. So even though he's shot through with all these arrows, he's not dying. He's waiting. So Krishna comes there, and all people come down from the heavenly planets, and great sages come. We're just watching this event, very important event of him leaving his body, going back to God. So Yudhishthira comes, and then Krishna, he doesn't say a word, but Bhishma Dev starts instructing him. And it's whole chapters in the Mahabharata, and giving him all kinds of detailed instruction how to run the kingdom, and encouraging him and so forth. Very important. It's only hinted at in the Bhagavatam. That part of the instruction. And then a certain time of the day came, which was very auspicious to leave. He's just waiting for that astrological point. And so when that comes, he starts chanting these prayers, very famous. These are chapter 9 of the 1st canto, beginning with, the prayers begin actually in text 32. But I'm going to share with you text 33. And it's a very wonderful meter, which is, I don't think, it may appear again in the Bhagavatam, but it's, I call it Bhishma's meter. Tribhavana kamanang tamalavanam, Ravikata Godavaramvadang Dadani, Vapalalaka Kalabatananam Vijayasakir Tadastame Nabadya. You may not have noticed, but his name is in this. Vijay. His name is Vijaya. His name is Vijayasake. You're the friend of the Vijay, the victor. Means the victor is the name for Arjuna. So, Sri Krishna is the intimate friend of Arjuna. He has appeared on this earth in his transcendental body, which resembles the bluish color of the tamal tree. His body attracts everyone in the 3 planetary systems, upper, lower, middle. May his glittering yellow dress and his lotus face covered with paintings of sandalwood pulp be the object of my attraction, and may I not desire fruitive results. Anavadya, let my rati, my attraction, not be diverted now. Let me just fix my attention, my mind, my attraction on Krishna who's standing right before me. So that's a very beautiful verse, and having to do with meditating on Krishna's form. 1 or 2 more. Now, the next one. Okay, now this is near the beginning of the Venu Gita. Now the Venu Gita chapter is very famous. There's a whole book, by the way, that Shiva Swami wrote based on this. It's called the Venu Gita. And the Venu Gita is kind of the outline of the book, all those verses. But then he gives all kinds of other commentaries he brings in from all, because our acharyas have really delved into these Gopi Gits. There's 4 Gopi Gits. So, this one you may have heard before. Okay. Barhapidam nadavadavapu karnayo karnikaram. I won't give you all the Sanskrit, most of you probably don't know it. Wearing a peacock feather ornament upon his head, blue karnikara flowers on his ears, a yellow garment as brilliant as gold, and the Vaijayanti garland, Lord Krishna exhibited his transcendental form as the greatest of dancers as he entered the forest of Vrindavan, beautifying it with the marks of his footprints. He filled the holes of his flute with the nectar of his lips, and the cowherd boys sang his glories. So this is a beautiful painting that was done by Muralidhar early on, in the early 70s, of this scene of Krishna entering the forest. And this is a kind of introductory. The gopis are singing this, and they're also meditating on Krishna entering the forest, Kusamita Vanadadi Shishmi Bringa. And this morning, for those who are at Mangalarti, I think I shared this, but these 2 I put into a little poem. And it's a wonderful meditation, and actually their Geet, which they begin a couple of verses later, they're also describing, Krishna's form. So you can refer to this and investigate it yourself. But this is how we can see Krishna. We see the deity, and we should relish that. And now it's said that Krishna can appear in any medium, right? He comes traditionally through stone. He can appear through wood, as Jagannath, through metal and brass, like that. Why not through pixels? Can anyone explain why? That happens to be in a modern way. In other words, all of these pictures we have of the deities, which are like everywhere, you can also pray to that picture, you can offer prayers, you can meditate on the form, you can become enlivened, so that you help your remembrance. The whole idea is to come to the point of always remembering Krishna. So if we're serving Krishna while deeply remembering him, then that service will be the most nectarian thing in every moment. If we're forgetting Krishna, well, we're doing our sadhana, and we're coming to the point. But we have so many aids, so many ways of helping us to remember Krishna's form. There's 4 different aspects that define a person. Can anyone give them to me? And? Yeah. That's true on the material side as well. If the police are looking for somebody, what's the first thing they want to know? His name. What's the name? Because they have so many computer files of different names and everything. And you saw him, right? Is there a witness around? Yeah, I saw him. Well, what did you see? They want to know the form. Tall or short, thick or fat. What was he wearing? He or she. What was he wearing? You know what I mean? Get some idea of the form. The qualities, well, they did some crime, and that goes with the activities also. But the point is that if your driver's license, color of the hair, color of the eyes, right? Do they put the weight on there anymore? Probably not. People got upset. But where do they live? So this is Nam. But the first thing is the name. Now, because Krishna is absolute, all four of these can be revealed by any of them. What I mean is that just by chanting the name, if you chant completely purely, the form will be revealed, the qualities and the pastimes, just by the name. But that's very high level. We need Pancharatrika Vidhi. We need, as described in previous purport. We need the form before us, so we can, see and serve him mercifully, so that we have so many aids to help us become absorbed. But we need to accept them. We need to utilize them. And the most important of these is sound, beginning with the name, but also expanding through the Bhagavatam and the other books Srila Prabhupada has given us. And these, this Sanskrit, yes, it's an austerity to work, to memorize these verses. And it's hard to memorize all this English that's not in a poem form. That's why I did a little poetry project. But it's believe me, it's worth the effort. Just like the drum. You're learning the mridanga a little bit now. So we've had several others learn mridanga. How valuable that is. Any kirtan without the mridanga, we've had some experience lately, minus the mridanga. At the beginning, that's all I had. There are many kirtans without the mridanga, or they have some bongo drum or something. But when that first mridanga came in San Francisco, I probably was there. He ran down the stairs to get it. You know that? You ever hear that? He was so eager to get it. Yeah, he ran down the stairs, and Mukunda followed him or took the elevator or something. And there Prabhupada was, putting the dung. He wrapped it up in cloth and protect it, because he knew that would increase the ecstasy of the kirtan so much, and it did. So, by the same token, each of these verses is a gift. I mean, you take the trouble to memorize. Memorize basically means repeating. There's no big secret. I mean, I have my 6 easy steps of memorization if you want to learn them, but it basically means go over and over it. And it's like a jewel. You put it up in your pocket. Now you can refer to it at any time. Chutta pavala barhasta bhagavata palabja malanbi. It's a way of remembering. So, I think there was one more. Yeah, from the Ancha Leela. Now, I know the Ancha Leela is very intimate, but this has been given to us. And this is Srimati Radharani. There's a quotation here from the Govinda Lilamrita, which is also by Krishnadas Kaviraj, by the way. He wrote that first. That's why he got the name Kaviraj, because of the Govinda Lilamrita. He actually he was young or middle-aged when he went there. And he wrote this Govinda Lilamrita, which is Krishna's daily activities, most beautiful Sanskrit. And there's a whole bunch of verses quoted from that book, which he wrote, 20 years after he wasn't contemporary of Lord Chaitanya. But he quotes these verses because Lord Chaitanya, he's chanting different shlokas, and even though it was written afterward, he puts this in Lord Chaitanya's mouth. So there's a section there where Radharani is describing how all her senses are being attracted to Krishna, and beginning with the sight, beginning with wanting to see his form, and then his fragrance and touch and sound and all these things. But I'll just give the one for the then for each of that big verse describing all 5 senses. So then 5 different verses, each one describing how our desires of our eyes are being increased by these things. Navambada dasadditir navadadin mano gyambadastu chittamudadisparat chararamanda chandranana mayola dalabhushitak subhagatara harapaba same madana mohanak sakatanoti netraspiham. So Madana Mohan, you remember at the beginning of the CC, there is description of 3 main deities in Vrindavan. We heard yesterday about the building of the Madana Mohan temple by Sanatan. So there's an order there. Madana Mohan, Govinda, and Gopinath. So Madana Mohan means he who enchants the mind, or he who bewilders Cupid. In other words, our attraction for this material world is the main attraction is sex life. So this Madana Mohan deity, Radha Madana Mohan, they sublimate that sex attraction so that you get more attracted to Krishna. This is the first step, is that we have to let Krishna attract us enough to begin chanting and learn the philosophy and take up Krishna consciousness. And then the attraction grows more and more. The whole process of Krishna consciousness is becoming more and more attracted to Krishna. From a little ruchi, to go attraction, asakti, and then comes the bhava, and then prema, and different levels. It's all just purifying the heart so that the natural attraction to Krishna manifests in us, and we can actually understand our form. So what she says here, my dear friend, she's speaking to a friend, the luster of Krishna's body is more brilliant than that of a newly formed cloud, and his yellow dress is more attractive than newly arrived lightning. A peacock feather decorates his head, and on his neck hangs a lovely necklace of brilliant pearls. As he holds his charming flute to his lips, his face looks as beautiful as the full autumn moon. By such beauty, Madan Mohan, the enchanter of Cupid, is increasing the desire of my eyes to see him. And then Lord Chaitanya, I'm not going to read this, but then Lord Chaitanya then explains this verse. He expands on it. This is the Anta Lila. There's a lot of this. So this is what Lord Shiva is sharing now. He's describing, this is like 2 more verses. There's a whole series of verses. We've already read like 3 verses about this. He's really getting into all the details of the attractiveness of Krishna, Narayan. But as Prabhupada says, this verse can be all about Krishna. Even though he describes those 4 symbols, they could be on the hands of Krishna. Because this sidelong glance is especially meant, priti prahasitanganam, especially meant for Krishna in relation to the gopis. Why sidelong? Because they have to hide it. You can't just look directly. You have to hide it because the parents may be looking. So that just adds to the mystery and the attraction. When they're out in the forest together, they don't need the sidelong glances. They just straight on, So that's all the verses I picked up. But the basic idea here is that the Bhagavatam periodically, every so often, there will be descriptions of Krishna's beauty. This is one of the great treasures of the Bhagavatam. And the most beautiful of these descriptions are the songs of the gopis. There's in the text in chapter 31, this is called the Gopi Geet. There's 4 Gopi Geets. This one is called Gopi Geet. It's the original main one, where Krishna's left them. He tracks him out to the forest with the flute for the rasa dance, and then they get a little proud, and he disappears. And so that meeting and separation, for the devotees who are, really love Krishna, it churns up the emotion to the highest degree. So now they're all alone, they're so bereft of Krishna. All they're doing is thinking of him so much that they even think they are him. They enact his pastimes. And then that's over, and they meet Radharani, and then they go and they sing this song. And there's many verses there which I won't, describing his beauty. And the classic atati yadbhavan nikananam tuti yugayate tvam apashyatam kutala kuntadam shimukam chate jadahu dikshatam bhakshma kuddasham, where they say, when you go to the forest during the day, we can't see your beautiful lotus face surrounded by the glossy curly locks of hair. Even a moment feels like a yuga for us. And even when we can see you, our eyes blink and impede our vision. And so they condemn Brahma, the creator, Just imagine to be so eager to see Krishna that you don't even want to blink. And it's, you're just drinking in that nectarian beauty, And it's all, and Krishna becomes very pleased by that, and he becomes even more beautiful, and then you want to see him more. There's like a competition that goes on. It's described in the 4th chapter, Adi Lila. So this is the real, example of Krishna's power and how he overwhelms all other forms of self-realization, whether it's yoga or impersonalism or this discipline, that. It just falls by the wayside as soon as there's a little bit of attraction for Krishna and you realize that this is actually the final goal. This is the ultimate thing. I was just reading again the CC how Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, became a devotee, became a Vaishnava. And this wonderful transformation. Here's this towering intellect. He was a Vedantic scholar, and he was the leader in Jagannath Puri, which was already a big place of pilgrimage, and he was in charge of the temple.
And Lord Chaitanya, attracted him on the level that he was on philosophy. He defeated him. He described what real Vedanta is. It's not impersonalism; it's ultimately personal attraction. And once he was, he was dumb. He was just shocked by the erudition that Lord Chaitanya showed, because he was, as Prakashananda seemed to imply, it seemed to be an emotional devotee. But he was dressed as a sannyasi, a Mayavad sannyasi. Well, why wasn't he studying Vedanta more? So then, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, when he's converted, he immediately composes these 100 verses. Can you imagine? It's so hard for us to even memorize one verse of the Bhagavad Gita. Imagine writing 100 of them out. What the command you have to have of the language. So one of them I'll share with you. This isn't exactly about the beauty, but it's just such a beautiful verse. Hare Krishna. He's meditating on Lord Chaitanya while he's writing this. He's right in front of him. Hare Krishna Rama Nama Gana Dana Karanim Shoka Moha Lobha Tapasava Vigna Nashinim Pada Padma Lubna Bhakta Vrinda Bhakti Dahinim Goda Mota Masha Nami Nama Sutta Darinim. So Lord Chaitanya made a gift of the Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, of the song of the Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Rama Nama. Gana means song. Dana, gift. Karanim. And one who accepts that gift, shoka, moha, lobha, tapa, salva, vignanashin. All your suffering in this world, beginning with lamentation and illusion, and bewilderment, and greed, and any kind of tapa, is destroyed. In other words, it relieves your suffering. And for those who are very eager to taste the nectar of serving Lord Krishna's lotus feet, who are very greedy, lubda, he bestows the highest levels of prema bhakti. I very eagerly and enthusiastically glorify this golden avatar who is chanting japa on a knotted string in a secluded place. He's meditating. Nama Sutta Dharinim. So this is one of many verses that describe Lord Chaitanya. And we're given this Chaitanya Charitamrita, and we should read it carefully. Okay, it's 8:32. Any comments, questions on any of these points?
On the YouTube channel, Mahatma Dravida Dasa says, "Good morning, spirit souls, obeisance to all." And Tapas says, "Hare Krishna."
Hare Krishna, Tapas.
I had a few questions. I'll just ask two short ones. The first one is, and this might sound like heretical, but when it talks about the signs being on the hands, in this case, well, I'm wondering, in this case, it says, according to palmistry, the signs of a conch shell, club, lotus flower, and disc mark the palms of a great personality. Now, are those signs like completely literal, like literal contours or literal like drawings looking like when we see pictures of Krishna's hands and feet? But like in palmistry also, there's like, you have like, Saturn prominent on your hands. I mean, like this area is like more elevated than the rest. So, because outside of Krishna, I don't know any other great personalities who would have any of those on their hands. But saying according to palmistry,
how many have you actually seen and examined?
So, because saying according to palmistry, so if it was literally like an outline of like a lotus or something, then
it's something that it's like the rabbit and the moon.
Okay.
Do you see a rabbit? I don't see a rabbit, but they see a rabbit. In fact, the moon itself, huh? You mean literally a rabbit? Yeah, but is it a rabbit with nice hairs and whiskers and everything, with a nice bushy tail? No, it's not a painting. He's asking if it's actually literally a conch shell on there. No, it's enough to remind you of a rabbit. I mean, some people saw a deer. When I remember, in the West, I always heard there was a deer up there. But it's so much of a cultural thing in India that you see a rabbit, that the moon is called Shashi, which is the word for rabbit. It's right in the Bhagavad Gita. Natad Basi Deshu Nashashanko Shasha is it. So or like the stars, the constellations. I the only one I ever saw was the Big Dipper, because that's pretty literal, right? You can see the outline now. But there's a scorpion up there, and everything.
Orion. That one
Orion. That's what it means.
Okay.
Those who can see, those who are expert can see. Oh, that's the conch. Your son has a conch.
The other thing is just so you were saying Dhenukasura, it's Dhenuka, so not quite a cow. But does that mean that Dhenukasura isn't actually a donkey, but we use the term donkey because it's close enough? Or is it actually donkey, but the name is just not donkey?
Well, I don't know what, I can look it up in the dictionary. I have a Sanskrit dictionary, I'll let you know.
Because we paint it always
But
as a donkey.
it must be a donkey. I mean, it's one of these Sanskrit words that sounds like the English word. Denuka.
Okay.
Donkey. You can see the relation.
Okay.
And he's always painted as a donkey. So they, probably would advise them how to paint. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, there's Denuka and his friends and associates, probably.
That was actually one of my other questions, was his associates, were they also great yogis who then took that form also to kill Krishna? Or
Yeah. It's not like he turned into a donkey and then recruited a bunch of demonic donkeys.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Any other question? Comment? Anything to share? Okay. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hari Hari Bol.